Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a busy executive, a professional, or really just someone operating on a tight schedule, your time is your absolute most valuable asset. So we're going to treat this exactly like a high-level briefing. Today, we are unpacking a really fascinating piece of metabolic science. We're going to look at why the very first 30 minutes after you wake up act like a master switch. Literally a switch that decides whether your body is going to burn stubborn belly fat or store it right back away for a rainy day. Okay, let's dive straight into this bottom line upfront action plan. We'll be covering 1. The visceral fat problem, 2. The morning cortisol switch, 3. The Japan obesity paradox, 4. The executive morning protocol, and finally, 5. Your daily habits checklist.
All right, starting right off with Section 1, the visceral fat problem.
Man, it's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? You've got the discipline. You're hitting your workout regimen, you're tracking your macros, maybe you're even skipping out on the fun at those corporate dinners. Yet that stubborn belly fat simply refuses to budge. Or worse, it just keeps coming back. Most people automatically blame a lack of willpower or a flawed diet, but the data points us in a completely different direction.
So here's the deal. The reason you're struggling is probably because you're treating all fat exactly the same. But biologically, they couldn't be more different. You've got subcutaneous fat. That's the softer stuff sitting right under your skin. It's relatively inert, kind of just along for the ride. But visceral fat is an entirely different beast. This fat lives deep inside your abdomen, physically surrounding your internal organs. And its defining characteristic is that it is highly reactive to your body's stress hormones. It is basically a giant sponge for stress.
Which brings us to Section 2, the morning cortisol switch.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that timing is absolutely everything. Literally, your morning routine dictates your metabolic fate, and it all happens before you even sit down for breakfast. The first 30 minutes after your eyes open act as the master switch for a hormone called cortisol. Now, cortisol naturally spikes when you wake up. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. But how you manage that spike in the first half hour tells your body whether it's entering a safe environment where it's ready to burn fuel or a high-stress environment where it needs to lock down and hoard visceral fat just to survive the day.
Let's look at a real-world example in Section 3, the Japan obesity paradox.
If you listen to mainstream fitness advice, you'd think carbs are the ultimate enemy of fat loss. But check this out. In Japan, white rice is an absolute dietary staple. People eat it daily, sometimes at multiple meals a day. Yet, despite all this daily carb intake, Japan consistently maintains one of the lowest obesity rates in the developed world. This brilliantly proves that fat storage, especially that stubborn visceral fat, is largely a hormone management issue, not just a strict carbohydrate issue. Think of it like this. If your cortisol is calm, your body can process the fuel. But if your cortisol is chronically spiked, your body just packs that fuel right around your organs.
Okay, let's shift from theory to execution with Section 4, the executive morning protocol.
Let's see how this actually builds out in your morning. We've mapped out your ideal first 90 minutes from the absolute second your feet hit the floor. Minute 0, you wake up. By minute 5, you're hydrating and getting some light exposure. By minute 30, you're incorporating some movement. And then, and this is absolutely key, we are deliberately holding off on caffeine until that 90-minute mark.
So here are the 5 systematic steps of this operational protocol. Step 1, water before coffee. Step 2, getting that morning sunlight. Step 3, that crucial 90-minute wait for your coffee. Step 4, a morning walk. And step 5, keeping those first 30 minutes completely phone-free. Look, these are non-negotiable if you want to effectively calm your cortisol and flip that fat-burning switch. Let's break down exactly why these work.
Okay, let's talk about the coffee rule, because I know for sure that's the one that hurts the most. To get why we wait 90 minutes, you got to understand adenosine. Basically, it's a chemical that slowly builds up in your brain all day to make you sleepy. When you sleep, it clears out. But if you wake up and slam a coffee immediately, the caffeine just acts as a temporary blocker. It doesn't actually clear the adenosine, it just kind of throws a mask over it.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. I know, we all kind of wish we could just hook up an IV drip of espresso the exact second the alarm goes off, but look at the data. If you aggressively caffeinate right at 6 a.m., you block that remaining sleep chemical, but your cortisol is already naturally peaking. The result? A massive energy crash by 2 p.m., followed by huge sugar cravings as your body frantically searches for quick energy. But if you wait just 90 minutes, allowing your natural cortisol spike to wake you up and naturally clear out that residual adenosine, boom, your caffeine intake gives you smooth, sustained energy and a deeply controlled appetite for the rest of the day.
Next up is how you move. So many highly driven people think they need some punishing, grueling boot camp at 6 a.m. to torch fat. Actually, scratch that. It does the exact opposite. Intense morning high IIT spikes your stress hormones even further. If your cortisol is already high from waking up, redlining your heart rate just signals extreme stress to your body, telling it to hoard visceral fat for survival. Contrast that with what we call optic flow walking, basically a brisk morning walk where objects are just casually passing by your field of vision. This specific visual and physical combo actively calms the nervous system and lowers excess cortisol. For stubborn belly fat, a simple morning walk literally beats the intense boot camp. Crazy, right?
And now for the classic executive error, the phone mistake. Come on, we are all guilty of this one. Reaching over, grabbing the phone, and aggressively checking urgent emails while you're literally still lying in bed. Biologically, doing this in the first 30 minutes just drastically spikes your morning stress. You are injecting high-stakes cognitive demands into your brain right when it is most vulnerable to cortisol overload. Seriously, leave the phone alone. The emails are still going to be there in half an hour.
All right, wrapping up with Section 5, your daily habits checklist.
So the crucial point here is that success is really just a matter of systematic habit building. Here is your rapid-fire summary checklist for long-term metabolic health. 1. Drink water immediately to rehydrate. 2. Get outside for natural sunlight to lock in your internal clock. 3. Delay that caffeine by 90 minutes to dodge the afternoon crash. 4. Prioritize that optic flow walking over high-stress workouts in the early hours. And 5. Keep those first 30 minutes totally phone-free to protect your stress baseline.
I want to leave you with a direct challenge today. Look at these 5 steps. Honestly, which one is going to be the absolute hardest for you to actually execute? Is it ignoring your inbox? Or maybe delaying that sacred first cup of coffee? Identify your friction point today. Reflect on your own habits and make the firm decision to optimize your morning system tomorrow. Remember, your body's fat-burning switch is in your hands every single morning. Use it wisely.